And joining me now on Fox26Houston.com is singer, songwriter, activist, writer, and Houston native Kam Franklin. Did I miss any titles?
There's a lot of them. You can keep going, but I would. It goes from everything from orator, model. What am I now? I guess I'm a teacher sometimes also as well. So it's been funny to just get all these titles, but I'm here for the bags.
Well, I love it. I love it. So we're here to talk about SoundClash, which you will be hosting on Thursday, November 10th. Tell us a little bit about SoundClash.
Yes, Red Bull's SoundClash is an event that is put on by Red Bull Music, and it's a showcase of music and culture and artistry, and it's usually one artist from one region versus another. Last year, my band, The Stuffers, got to participate in it in a SoundClash against Tank and the Bangas from New Orleans. This year, Paul Wall, who actually hosted last year, is taking over to perform this year, and he's going against Gary Clark Jr. from Austin.
So how does that feel to like have the roles switched where you'll be hosting? And are you still going to be performing this year too?
Well, it feels incredible to be still just in the mix with two just legendary artists. I know they're going to be just bringing their absolute best. I may be performing, I may not be performing. I will leave that as a surprise, but I think everybody should come through and see what it's about, because there's going to be tons of surprise guests, and it's going to be a one night only experience.
Yeah, no, and I mean, how did it come about? Like, take us through that conversation where they were like, "Hey, Kam, Gary Clark Jr. and Paul Wall are going to go against each other."
Look, you sound like you were in the room, because that's exactly how it went. I got the call and they told me what they were doing, and that this year it was going to be Houston versus Austin, with Paul taking over the stage part of it. And I was like, absolutely. I really didn't ask many other questions because it could have stopped at Paul. And when they said that Gary was involved, it just really upped the ante for me just as a participant. I love them both, and I'm very impressed by both of them as artists and as peers and friends. And I just feel very, very honored to be a part of such a wonderful night. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, and you've worked with a lot of amazing, talented artists, and you yourself have done amazing work outside of music. But I'm curious, from an artist perspective, how does one maintain their creativity?
It definitely differs from artist to artist in terms of maintaining my own creativity. I would say by continuously trying to step out of my own box and not being too comfortable with being comfortable, and being okay with growing and knowing that whatever comes out on that other side is usually just going to be an even more beautiful thing. And so in terms of my creativity, I just keep trying. I keep trying new stuff. Even when I'm bad at something, I just think about, man, if I just stick to this, I'm going to be awesome, or I'm going to be at least hopefully less bad than I am right now. And it's really scary, but I feel like in terms of creativity, that's the whole point, is to, let that thing that scares you the most come out and see what the ending result is in terms of creation. And it's usually something really cool.
Well, and we've got two creative artists going against each other, is probably stepping out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
How did Houston get picked to hash things out with Austin?
I've been kind of asking the same question myself, because we used to get skipped so much for a lot of, big events like this. And so it's really cool to see Red Bull leaning into what I think those of us that live here have already known and seen, and that this is a really cool place to be. This is a really awesome city. It's filled with endless amounts of cultural diversity, but you can't really, celebrate that and show that unless you actually live that and present that and show how, how amazing of a host city we can be for this kind of stuff, not just for sports, but when it comes to art. And when it comes to one night only music experiences like this one, I hope that we become the city that Red Bull chooses every year. It used to be a thing where it would hop cities, but the fact that we're getting two back to back and we're not considered to be, one of the top two, top three cities, LA, New York, right? And so it's really cool to have this coming here and to have it coming here for the second year in a row. That says a lot about what we're doing right. And it says a lot about us as a music listening city. That means that the people here are open to more than what's just, being presented to them on a silver platter, or what's being played on the radio every single day. So I think if people take the time to come and see this event, they're really, really going to have their mind open. Also, Red Bull, they got that production. Come see how cool this is going to be aesthetically. It is a work of art to see what can happen when people are given the resources, and that is probably also one of my biggest takeaways from last year, is that, I have an independent band, and, music and having a good time is what we do. But financially, the budget that Red Bull was able to bring last year took our visions of what our show could be to a new height. And I think people that had never seen us in that light were able to see that for real. And so this year, I feel like we're going to see the exact same thing with Paul and with Gary. And even though we have seen them, a lot of us have seen them before, I think we haven't seen them like this. And I think it's going to make for a really, really great night.
Well, and I want to touch on something you brought up earlier about Houston's diversity in the culture. But to go back on what you just said, what would you say to those that might say Houston might have the upper hand, because the home advantage, if you will, against Austin?
I'll say that's okay, because Austin gets a lot of stuff. Austin gets a lot of the big music stuff. They get ACL, they have South by Southwest. And if what we have is a home field advantage when it comes to the music, cool.
I have no arguments with that.
we need more. So let us have that.
Right. And I mean, Houston's musical history is so deep.
Absolutely.
But as a Houston native, in your opinion, what is it about Houston, and maybe even Texas in general, Texas and Houston's music scene, that grabs and keeps people's attention?
In terms of Texas as a whole, it's an incredible place that is so big and so vast. It just breeds so many different incredible artists. And I think the list goes on and on and on and on when you talk about who comes from here, including Gary and Paul. When you get deeper into what makes Houston so special, again, it goes back to that culture. It goes back to the surroundings of where we're at, the swamp, being so close to Galveston, the food, the sounds, the smells, the opportunity. It is a very special place. And I feel like to not acknowledge that or take the time to see that is really on the loss of the person that makes that choice. But there's a reason so many great artists come from here, from Beyonce to Lizzo to Krungben to every artist that we've talked about already. It's something that I won't try to explain, because I would like to believe that there's still some kind of magic in the world. And I believe that lies here in Houston.
No doubt. Well, speaking of magic, what's something magical that you think fans might really get excited about for this year's event?
Something that I think that's magical that fans might get excited about. I believe the event is 21 and up, which means that I think we're going to be covering some of the drinks for the people that get there a little early, to my understanding. So that's, saving money is magical. Saving money's a little magical. But yeah, we're gonna have a little tab going for the folks that get there a little early.
You're gonna hook a brother up, because I'm 21 and up.
Hey, I'm like, yeah, y'all come through. But in addition to that, I think the real magic is going to come from the music. And again, just hearing it done a different way, having it revamped, having a lot of fun with it, you know, and kind of just taking it somewhere else, I think is really what's going to bring that out. I think that music is truly a healing gift. I think it's a form of medicine that isn't utilized enough. And, you know, a lot of folks have not been to concerts yet post-COVID lockdowns. And I think that now is the time. Get out there, come and support, and, you know, come and see what the real magic is by using your ears.
Absolutely. Aside from SoundClash, what else have you been up to? I know you had a single release last year. Any other projects you're working on?
Yes,
You try to share with us?
yes. I'm getting to release another single at the end of next month. I'm sure you can mute it out, but it's called A Bitch Didn't Listen. And that one is more country, folk Americana, but still singing the way I sing. And my band, The Suffers, are playing a New Year's Eve show here in Houston at Lost Concert Cafe. And on top of that, I'm working on our next record, producing records for other people. I'm going to Alaska this weekend, playing over in Anchorage for the first time. So that's going to be amazing. This has been an amazing travel year for us. So we did Greece earlier this year. And so I'm just really grateful to be working right now. And last but not least, I'm also working on another, like I have 4 albums I'm working on right now, but Suffers record, my solo record, and the EP called Second Ward Healing Hours, and which is an environmental injustice album focused on the inequity that exists amongst 5 communities here in Houston. And it puts a heavy focus on why these Black and Brown communities seem to be more susceptible to benzenes and particulate matter 2.5, which both are known to cause cancer and allergies. But anyway, I have lots of projects that I'm working on, some fun, some intense, but again, I'm grateful for the gift to create and to be able to do it here in Houston. And I'm really excited for everything that's coming up, but especially this Red Bull event next week. So I hope everybody can make it out to SoundClash and we can all have a good time.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to add?
Just make sure y'all get out there and vote.
Oh yeah, it's almost election time.
Yeah.
Kam Franklin, singer, songwriter, activist, and Houston native, discussing SoundClash, which she'll be hosting again Thursday, November 10th at 713 Music Hall. Thank you for joining us, Kam. We hope we can talk again soon. We appreciate your time.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. Have a good one.